how to present with impact and confidence. I'm going to be sharing the lessons I've learned, I'm going to say for over 25 years. I started presenting internationally when I was 16 in Sweden as exchange student, and even before that I still remember one of my teachers saying to me, Jose, if you want to be successful in life, you need to master presentation skills. This is one of the reasons why I've created this session especially for you today. So I'm going to give it my best, everything I know. If you have any questions, anything, type in the chat, message me, get in touch. What is the first thing when it comes to communication, okay, and presentation skills? The first thing that I want to share with you is the following. Because it is all, yes, just like my t-shirt, it is all about impact. And impact, influence starts with engagement. That's the first thing. Engagement has to do with the way in which you carry yourself, the way in which you walk into a room, how you shake hands, your tone. All of these things are going to lead to creating impressions in other people. So the way in which you engage creates an impression. Can we control how people see us or perceive us? I would say no, but we can definitely influence it by managing how we engage. Now, the consistency of the impressions we create lead to a very important word in communication, trust in capitals. It leads to trust. And I hope that by the end of this session, you trust me enough to at least drop me a message. Trust, I see it as a piggy bank, okay? You add coins to it. Every impression, every positive impression, it's another coin that you add to that piggy bank of trust. But I only need to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing once or twice, engagement, for that trust, for that piggy bank, bang, to break. Once we have trust, the next piece will be influence, which happens at a deeper level. This is what I'm after when I'm delivering a presentation. This is what I'm after when I'm communicating. This is what I want you to get to. I want you to be impactful. And a definition of impact that I really enjoy is leaving something behind that wasn't there before. Now, question for you. What is the most important thing in a presentation? Body language, yes. Tonality, absolutely. The slides, yes, sometimes. The quality of the message, of course. But before all of that, one thing we don't tend to focus enough, and this is a very important lesson because it will guarantee the impact of your presentation. Here it comes. The audience. Without the audience, without you, there's no point in me being here. So we're going to do an activity, which I'm going to invite you to do, okay? Over the time I'm delivering this session, or after, it's up to you. And it will be about you thinking about the audience, okay? Who do you tend to present to? Is it work colleagues? Is it C-level executives? Is it clients? Who within your clients? Again, C-level executives, administrators, human resources. I want you to be very specific when it comes to your audience, okay? Write them down, create a list. Who do I present to? Who do I communicate with? Next. And this is something I want you to do every time you go and present, okay? This is part of the preparation process. And it starts at the beginning, even before anything else. Next, this audience will have needs, okay? What are the needs of your audience? They will have expectations. They will have preferences. They will have problems. Basically, they are attending your presentation for a reason, okay? They are there for a reason. What is in your presentation for them? And finally, the next thing I want you to work on, now this is when your presentation comes in. This will be your how, if you like. How are you going to solve this? So this will be your message. What kind of message are you going to deliver? How are you going to deliver this message? What kind of resources are you going to use? Are you going to use flip chart? Are you going to use, is it going to be virtual? Are you going to use a widescreen? Slides. So here comes the message, here comes your presentation. This is exactly how you are going to be, as I said before, solving these problems. So here is the activity. Well, also, how engaging are you going to be making it? Are you going to have any props? What kind of questions are you going to be asking the audience to make it engaging? Very important nowadays. We tend just to push information, which is our preference. Right now, I'm pushing a lot of information onto you. So if it's too much, just pause for a moment, which you can do because you're watching this video. If you want to type a question, if you want to reach out to me, I'll be more than happy to support you, okay? But the activity I want you to do is, who is your audience? I repeat it again. Spend time thinking about them. What are their needs, expectations, preferences, problems, and how are you going to solve them? This is your solution to them. This is how you start a presentation. Right. The next thing I want to share with you is what I called the X, Y set. This is your introduction. You can call this your pitch or elevator pitch. This is very helpful when you go and present yourself like this, and I'll give you some examples. If you go to a networking event, okay, whenever you're meeting someone and they ask you, what is it that you do? And then you go, it's complicated, or where do I start? Remember, engagement, impressions, trust, influence, you have lost all of that. So with the XY set, basically the X is the people you help, you support, the people you work with. So I'm going to say here that my X is that I help people in business. I help business professionals. That is one version. Then the Y, through what do you help these people? And the Z is what they get at the end, the what's in it for them. So I help X through Y so that they Z or Z. I help business professionals through YouTube videos on presentation skills, or I help them through tailored coaching and training sessions on presenting with impact and confidence so that they can present their products with confidence. They can present their reports so that they can stand up and speak up, so that they can, whatever you want to think about, anything that my workshops would enable you to tell more engaging stories, to use the power of your voice more effectively, to become a greater communicator, okay? So that's the XY set. Your next task is to do your XY set. If you want me to look at it, write it down as a message, and I'll be happy to give you some feedback. XY set. Let's work on it. I'm going to grab a bit of water. Take a deep breath, and let's continue. Have you ever attended a presentation where you were basically lost? Where am I? Where is this going? What is the speaker talking about? I'm lost. I've been to a few. And I've also been on the delivering end, seeing the audience get a bit lost. Because yes, I've made mistakes. I keep on making mistakes every now and then because I like to experiment. But what I want you to focus on now, the next piece, is going to be all about structure, okay? And I'm not going to give you yet the full structure for your presentation, but we're going to talk about how to structure your points. I'm going to share 3 of my favorite structures. Why are structures important? Because they will, first of all, enable you to structure your message so that you know where you are. As you know where you are and you signpost, your audience will know exactly where you are as well. Therefore, there will be a great connection and engagement. The first structure you can use. This one is called the what, why, and how. This even works a treat for a meeting. This is what we're going to be discussing in today's meeting. Why? These are the reasons behind the meeting, and this is how we're going to go about it. This is for a meeting, for a presentation, for your point. As I said, I'll expand later on the introduction and the conclusion and the call to action and everything else. Bear with me, step by step. What? Let me speak to you about confidence, okay? So what is confidence? Confidence is self-belief. Self-belief in your abilities. Confidence is like a muscle and I can expand. So that would be my what if I decided to speak to you about confidence. Why is it important to develop your confidence when it comes to presentation skills? Well, confidence is what's going to enable you to be authentic, to be yourself, to make mistakes and continue, to receive feedback openly, to engage your audience through that version of yourself. Okay? I could expand on this, but just for the purpose of this piece. How do you develop your confidence? As I said, confidence is a muscle, so you need to practice. Think about what gives you confidence and do more of it. Also, think about what takes your confidence away and do less of it. Yeah? So what, why, how is the first structure that I want to share with you. All of this will come together in a moment, so bear with me. What, why, how. WWH. Are you ready for next? And by the way, these structures that I'm sharing with you, use them with flexibility. If you think that the point you want to make doesn't really work with a WWH, that's fine. Let's try this one instead. IPS. Intro, or also the premise. Problem. Yes, solution. This one works really well for, I call them case stories, or also for business stories, or any story. But I do like to use them especially for those business cases. Let me think. The premise. I was in Spain coaching a group of managers, okay, on how to be more impactful through their presentations. I'm setting the scene with this, very briefly, of course. The problem that one of them had is that that person was used to reading off a script, okay? And if the script was too far, he would struggle reading it. Therefore, he would be looking like this, trying to read what is he saying, and then losing connection with the audience, losing his train of thought. Problem, okay? Clear? Setting the scene, the problem, the solution. The solution, you have it here. I introduced him to the IPS. He did enjoy storytelling, okay? He mentioned that to me a few times during the day, and then we got him working on utilizing the IPS to narrate, to tell the stories and deliver his presentations with more impact. Since he couldn't read the script, but he could remember his stories, we crafted them using the IPS. I set the scene. I was in Spain with these people, the managers, then the problem, the reading the script, the solution. That person is being able to present without reading, engaging the audience with greater impact. There you have it. I'm going to give you one more. There are many, by the way, but I think with these three, you'll have a good start. Again, use it when you see it or where you see it fit. Mix them up, okay? Remember, you always have your audience in mind. What's in it for them? What do you want them to take away? How do you want them to feel at the end of your presentation? The third one, you may laugh, yes, because this is really simple. This is called the 3 T's. I used the 3 T's when I wrote my book, and it helped me big time when I wrote Global Influence. The first T, and you may have noticed that the 3 structures are divided in 3 steps or 3 phases. Why? Because for the mind, it's easy to remember things that are in 3. For you as the speaker, it will be easy to remember those 3 as well. For me, it's all about simplifying communication for greater impacto. The first T is tell them, okay, so you tell the audience, tell them. I'm going to read the rest. Tell them what you are going to tell them. Then, the second T, you tell them that thing, okay, that you said you were going to tell them. And the third T, tell them what you just told them. You basically summarize it. So you start, I'm going to speak to you about body language. Okay? Then I expand on body language. The importance of gesturing with purpose. How to divide the stage, which actually I can give you in a moment. I will share more on body language. How to be more open. How to be more credible. How to be more approachable. I'm telling you. And then at the end, I will wrap it up. That's why it is important to use your body language purposefully in order to enhance your message and your presentation. Body language is even more powerful than slides, by far. But I won't delve into body language fully. I'll give you more in a moment. The 3 T's. So when it comes to your points, the points for your presentation, you have 3 options. What, why, how, IPS, intro, problem, solution, and finally, the 3 T's. Tell them what you're going to tell them that thing, and tell them what you just told them. What do you think about this so far? Reach out. In my description, you have different links. You have links to my world-class communicator. You have my email. If you go to my website, you can WhatsApp me. Look, I'm here to serve. Now, the time has come for me to present to you my full presentation structure. Make it as simple as possible, yet very impactful. Everything starts with, yes, the audience we have covered already, but everything starts with an introduction. But then how do we go about this introduction? The first thing your introduction needs to have This has got different names, but you need a hook. Some people call it the promise of your talk or presentation. The hook, the promise. This can be a question that you ask the audience, generally a rhetorical question. You can have a quote. You can have a statement, a statistic. One of my hooks, when I speak about confidence, for instance, I tend to start. Have you ever been on stage and completely lost your train of thought? Your mind went blank. Generally, people tend to nod and go, yeah, right, I have your attention. And then from there, I go and expand. So think about your hook, and as you're watching this video, start thinking, how do I want to hook my audience moving forward? How do I want to share with them the promise of my talk? The next thing you can add briefly is your X, Y, Z. Remember? We have spoken about it already. Hopefully by now you have it, or you're going to start working on it. So I'll give you my hook, and then my name is Jose Ucar. I'm a communication and influence expert. It can be a short one or the XYZ fully. I help business professionals through YouTube videos so that they present with impact and confidence. Next, the objectives of your presentation, okay? Objectives of your presentation. What are people going to be getting from it? Why are you presenting this? And before you go into your point, the direction of your talk. Okay, very important. Direction of talk or presentation. Remember that I said to you it's important to structure things. It is important to tell people where you're going to signpost. Of course, don't overdo it. But this is what's going to get people ready. The direction of my talk. These sessions is going to last 10 minutes. And I'm going to speak about A, B, and C. This is what I'm talking about with the direction of your talk. So this is a strong introduction to any presentation. Depending on the full length, you can make it a bit shorter, but always remember the hook, short presentation of yours, objectives, and how this is going to evolve. Once you have this, we're going to go straight into the body of your presentation, which is the second part. And in the body, depending on the length, okay, I personally recommend for what could be a keynote or a 45-minute presentation to have 3 points. You can have more if you're going to be speaking for longer, or if you're delivering a training session, maybe you want to, add 4, 5, 6, but it is important that you do it in a way that keeps people engaged. Okay, remember, you're pushing information, but you need to pull them in. These points, 1, 2, and 3, these are the ones you're going to expand by using some of the structures I've shared with you. So it can be the what, why, how, for your point 1. For the second point of your presentation, it can be the IPS, okay? And here can be the 3 T's. You can also use acronyms to develop some of your points. Think of an acronym. That will also be another way, okay, to deliver some of your points. This is the body. At the end, the beauty of this is that at the end, it will give you like a short summary of each one of the points, okay? So what I want for you at the end of each one of these is to have a short conclusion, like a mini wrap-up. And once you have your mini wrap-up, this is what's going to lead to the full conclusion of your talk or your presentation, plus the call to action. So let me just try and improvise an example here to share with you. So my intro is what I said. Have you ever been on stage and you lost your train of thought? That's my hook. Then I'm Jose Ucar. I've already given you my XYZ, the objectives. I want you all to be more confident at the end of this talk and have the tools to implement this and improve, to exercise your confidence. The direction of the talk, let me think about it. I'm going to speak about, over here, I think I mentioned, I expanded on confidence. So what is confidence and how to develop it and the things to think about. If you go back in the video, you'll remember this. IPS, the situation of that manager in Spain. And then the 3 T's, I spoke about body language, okay? So I wrap all of this up. That's the conclusion. If you want to improve your confidence, imagine, I still don't have a title for this talk. Potentially I would do it towards the end. But then the conclusion is that if you want to develop your confidence, it's important that you know what it is. It's important to know what gives you confidence, what takes it away. Don't do scripts, use structures, incorporate storytelling, and then in here, the importance of body language to enhance your message and to connect with your audience more authentically. That's the conclusion. The call to action right now would be go and implement, go and put all of this into practice. This is how you can do a very impactful presentation that engages the audience. And even if you decide to do this professionally, these are some of the, well, this is what I do in my presentations. If you see how I break them down, you will find some of these things. I adapt, I incorporate new things, I play around, I love to experiment. But here you have something very, very strong. Let me think about what's coming next. Give me another break. See you in a moment. Write down any comments, any questions, any thoughts. Let's engage. Share this message with anyone that you think could benefit. And let me catch my breath. Important, I just remembered, in the description you will find a link to download my presenting styles questionnaire. We all have a preferred presenting style. You have your own, so do I. So the whole idea behind this questionnaire is not to only identify it, but also to learn from the other styles so that you can become a greater communicator. So download it, okay, fill it in, and feel free to share your thoughts. Okay, I'm always interested to know how this is landing for you, how this is going. So let's keep the communication, open back and forth. Let's talk about body language briefly and what I call stage anchoring and the circle of influence. 3 things. I'm going to give you some pointers. Let me put this away because I'm not going to need it right now. I know many people don't know what to do. This can be your case. I don't know what to do with my hands, Jose. What do I do with them? I'm going to say, use them with purpose, okay? But if you are unsure, bring them here, okay? That's one way, and then you control it. From here, you can gesture. Practice. You may wonder, Jose, but it doesn't, it feels uncomfortable, it feels robotic, it doesn't feel like me. Of course, if you've never done this before, that will be the case. This is why I invite you to try, test, okay? Instead of having hands in pockets and things like this, you come here and you gesture and you come back. If you want to be more approachable, open hands like this, okay? This is an approachable stance for trust. If you want to be more credible, I don't know if you remember your teacher, palms down, telling us to quiet down, calm down, listen to me. As you do this, you drop your tone, and then you move from approachable to credible. There are other ways to go about this, but at least I'm giving you some things to consider and start implementing. You may have seen that I like to gesture like this a lot. You can try, okay? If I want to describe something, I open up my body language as well. what I tend to do, I would say it's not my secret, it is my strategy, is that whatever is coming to mind that I want to present to you, you see, I just use my body language to enhance the message. So begin to experiment. If it feels a bit robotic, if you think, wow, but I've got all of these things, there is a lot. I hear this often. Jose, but there is a lot to take on board. And yes, there is a lot, and that's fine. One step at a time. Divide it in 3. One little bit every day will make you a great communicator. You don't need to take all of this video on board at once. But whatever resonates the most, get started. What else about body language? I've spoken about tonality. Right. This is my circle of influence. Okay? This is my position of power, of authority. Whenever you want to present, create this space, which generally is in the middle of the room or the middle of the stage. Then what I like to do, because purpose in body language is key, I divide my stage in 3. Easy for me to remember. Why 3? I could divide it into 9 pieces, but what would be the point? It would be potentially too much. This is not the theater, by the way, which is where it comes from, the 9 divisions. But what I tend to do is that here to my right is the past, or the beginning of something, or a problem, and then I refer to it on this side. Then here is the present. Here can be the resolution of that situation. And here is the future, the results, the next steps. You start with your confidence down here, and when you begin to practice some of the things I've shared, you go up here. You begin with your knowledge, and then you evolve. If you anchor this, it is easy for you to know where you are and also for the audience to understand. Okay? So you can use these 3 stages along with your structures. What, why, how, I, P, S. It looks like I'm doing a bit of salsa here. The 3 T's. Begin to experiment. You don't want to be bang in the middle, stuck. You don't want to be doing the lion in a cage either. You want to be purposeful, because this is your circle of influence. This is where you command the stage. This is where you connect. This is where you inspire. This is the place from which you deliver your greatness. So, body language, stage management and anchoring. Now, I would like to answer some of the questions I tend to get often. One of the questions I get all the time is, Jose, how to control nerves? Wow, I mean, that's a big thing, nerves, the nerves before a presentation. And I always like to say, practice, practice, practice. But of course, you practice, that's one thing. You prepare, that's also another way, which is pretty much what we've done today. You think about your audience, you prepare in advance, you have a structure, okay? Of course, you go and practice it. Those things will help you. Thinking about your confidence, what gives you confidence, doing more of that, as I said before, what takes your confidence away, doing less of that. Then, breathing. How often do you breathe properly? There is a type of breathing which is breathing through your diaphragm. It's a bit of a difficult word for me to say. And I'm going to show you basically what you do. Instead of breathing through your chest, you breathe through your belly. You do that a few times and it will help you relax. There's nothing wrong if you're feeling very nervous and you're speaking and you feel like you're going too fast. Well, you take a deep breath and pause. The audience will thank you for it. So you have breathing, You have the preparation, using everything that we've covered today. Visualization. I close my eyes, okay? And I start seeing myself at the beginning of my presentation. Then I'm visualizing all of this. Then I see how I stand on stage feeling confident. I begin to deliver my talk. Everything flows. The audience is engaging with me. They're having a great time. And towards the end, everything has gone as expected, even greater than that, and people give me a round of applause. By the end of that visualization, I begin to feel a bit better. What I then do is I take this energy, this emotion that I have right now, which is getting more positive, and I jump back to the beginning, and with all of that intensity, I go through it again, feeling, reliving the greatness, how well it went, and basically what I'm doing, I'm amplifying those emotions in my mind. And I do it up to 5 times, but feel free to do as many as you like. What this is doing is moving you away from that problem-based thinking that you have towards solution-based thinking. Remember, that is something you can control. This is what high-performing athletes do as well before the competitions. They visualize, because the mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and what's happening in real life, so you can benefit from that. Another thing you can do, it is important, you can warm up your voice. Apart from breathing, I can give you a few. You may laugh with me. One of them is the it will help you, okay, warming up the voice. This is another one which has to do similar to that diaphragmatic or the diaphragm breathing. I'm sorry, I'm losing it now. In which you go, ah, ah. This is called the ha, by the way. Ah. I may sound a bit silly, but try that. Look, if it makes you laugh, fantastic. That's the whole idea as well. Apart from warming up your voice and getting more oxygen into your system as well. I would also invite you, in terms of that preparation to manage nerves, record yourself, okay? See yourself presenting. I know some people don't like it. Get used to it. Give yourself feedback. Send that recording to people within your circle so they can tell you what they think. How is it landing? Did they understand? Was the message ABC? Was it accurate? Was it brief? Was it clear? There is a video on this, by the way, so you can find more videos around communication in my channel. Okay? What else can I tell you about managing nerves? I think you've got plenty in there. If you want anything else, reach out. If none of the ones I've given you work, I can think of more, okay? Just for the purpose of this video, I'll leave it at this and I'll move on to to another question that I tend to get all the time. Another question, Jose, tips on visuals. Do you really need them? Do you need PowerPoint? That's the first thing. Don't you have enough with yourself, your structure, and the use of the stage? If it isn't enough, and you think by having some slides it will enhance the impact of your presentation, then what I would invite you to do is having images in the background, images that support, okay, as I said, that enhance the points you're making. Avoid loads of bullet points, please. I would potentially have no bullet points at all. Don't add loads of information. If you think the audience is going to be missing out, lead them, get them ready. Remember the direction of your talk. Tell them, look, I'm going to be speaking about A, B, C. By the end of the presentation, and this applies to business, because I remember in the past and even today, people say, yeah, but I would like to have all of the information, all of the things that you mentioned. Fantastic, I have a book. Or here you have the report. Or here you have all of the slides and a Word document that I created for you. But address that at the beginning so that people can relax. So if I go back to the visuals, have images. Images, and if you're going to use something that creates good contrast, if you're going to have some words, Ideally, you can have them in a white background and then the letters can be in black. Make sure people can read it. If people, if your audience struggles to see what's in them and you are talking, they've already gone. You've lost them because they're trying to read something and then you're talking about that or something else. Okay? So that's why the structure and everything that I've been sharing with you is very important. Less is more. How to prepare for questions. Unforeseen questions. There is only so much you can prepare. You can also think about potential questions the audience could ask you. But if you get to the point in which you receive a question and you don't know the answer to that question, that can also be normal. We cannot know, and we will never know, all the answers to all the potential questions that can come from human beings in the audience. So what can you do? Then say, thank you very much for that question. Let me find out and get back to you. And that is also an opportunity for you to reconnect with that person later. But my recommendation, think about throughout your preparation, thinking about your audience, their needs, what kind of questions could they be asking me, and then prepare. Another thing that I also recommend, because as speakers, communicators, it is important to think on our feet. And therefore, improvisation is a powerful tool. There is one of the many things that I use. There is an application, it's not an application, it's a link called Story Dice. I'm going to provide the link, okay, by the way, so you can practice it. And I use it for improvisation. What it does is that it gives you a few dice which you roll and they come up with different images. And then you're supposed to put a story together. And I get participants to do it on the spot. And then you can see people getting nervous and not knowing what to say and freaking out. That's one of the best things you can do in order to start practicing your ability to create connections on the spot. That's why improvisation is so important. So check out the link, click it, roll the virtual dice a few times, and create stories. When I go like this, it's because they are, I think, up to 9 dice that you can have, and create stories on the spot. Begin to practice this often. The beauty of this is, these things are coming up randomly. But when you prepare for a presentation, some of the questions you will already know. But sometimes you're not sure because you second guess yourself, you hesitate, the same thing that happens when you are improvising. But think about it this way. If you really know what you're talking about because you practiced, you prepared, through those improvisation exercises, you'll be able to create those connections quicker and provide greater answers to your audience. So in order to answer questions, unexpected questions, practice improvisation. And as I said, you will have the link. I hope you enjoy it. Time to wrap up. I really hope, look, I've given it my best, my everything today. And I am a bit tired, yes. But let's just recap. We covered everything that has to do with impact. Okay, remember how you engage, the impressions you're making, trust, influence, the audience, the needs, the expectations, the preferences, the message, your presentation, your solution. So remember this, everything starts with the audience. The XYZ, your presentation, your mini pitch. Structures for the points of your presentation. What, why, how. Intro, the IPS, problem, solution. You have got plenty here. I hope you do apply and get in touch. The 3 T's. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them that thing. Tell them what you just told them. Here, I made a mistake. So the intro of your presentation, the hook, the promise, then the XYZ, the objectives, the direction of the talk. How long are you going to be talking for? Remember, direct people in the audience. Okay, make sure they're with you. Signpost. The body. 3 points, 2 points, 1 point, 5 points. How you can expand them. I even mentioned here the acronyms. Then the conclusion, remember a strong call to action at the end. Nothing else in here. I spoke about body language, stage anchoring, the circle of influence, how to manage nerves, a few tips on your visuals, handling questions, unexpected questions. What else? And I recommended, well, I spoke a little bit around storytelling. I didn't give you loads today, but then the story dice, which can be a good way to practice improvisation. On that note, I hope you enjoyed this. More importantly, practice, okay? If you're feeling like there is a lot, yes, that's fine. One step at a time. Enjoy the process. Get in touch. Practice, practice, practice. Experiment. Make mistakes like this one I've just made. Make mistakes. Learn from them. Enjoy it. And put yourself out there. Share your excellence with the world and enjoy the ride. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.